Somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage, fly boy.
There's something alive in here.
Look, did you see that? Why?
Welcome back, fly friends. We're back. Both of us are back. We're back into the garbage chute, fly friends. How are you doing?
Finally. Everyone is back together again.
Fly friends, we're back into the garbage chute. I'm your host, Silver, and I'm back with my co-host, Riley.
Hello.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It feels like it's been a while. It's been a while. But we're happy to be back in the trash compactor with each and every one of you. Thank you all so much for just continuing hanging out with us and being the best fly friends that we know. But yeah, Riley, what's happening?
Oh man. Let me tell you. First of all, The Bad Batch, incredible. We'll get into that. First of all, I want to talk about something very special, near and dear to my heart.
What is it?
Dune.
But
how are you? Wait, how are you first?
I have a sandworm brain. Also, I cannot stop thinking about Dune. I'm thinking, like, how am I going to bring Dune into the Bad Batch conversation? Bad Batch, of course, near and dear to all our hearts, and we're obviously so excited to talk about the latest 2 episodes of Bad Batch, episode 6 and episode 7. We're going to get into that. But first, I told Riley before we had to start the show, I need to talk about Dune 2 just a little bit with Riley, because I have not seen Riley or talked to Riley about it. And I have to say, Riley, how are we feeling about Dune 2?
Oh man, talk about cinema.
To me, that's cinema.
Oh my god. Okay. If you guys listened to the last episode, you know I was also comparing The Return to Dune with that giant worm. Okay? Listen.
Yes.
Riley is back again comparing Star Wars to her latest hyperfixation. And this time it's Dune. Oh.
I have to ask, Riley, at what level, where are we at as far as your hyperfixation? A lot of us, our fly friends know, a lot of the internet knows, definitely Twitter knows, Riley and Top Gun Maverick. Okay. I have to ask, at this point, I think this is the third week of Dune too. How are we feeling as far as, like, where are we at? Are you would you say it's close to Maverick? Not close enough? Are we kind of,
it's very hard for me to
separate
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick.
Who's your 2 favorite kids at this point?
Right.
Can't ask you that. That's a terrible question.
Top Gun Maverick is my favorite movie ever.
Yes.
Dune 2 is up there. I'm so serious. I have never, like, catapulted myself into something this hard. Like, aside from Top Gun, I've always loved Top Gun, and then when Top Gun Maverick came out, I was like, oh man, this is how I'm feeling with Dune.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I want a Dune tattoo. I'm in it. I'm in it. What about you?
I think hyperfixate is the best word. That's all I can think about. I cannot stop thinking about Dune. I actually posted on my Instagram. I put the song "A Time of Quiet Between the Storm."
Yeah,
and it's my new. It's Across the Stars for me. It's my new.
I love it.
The music, I just cannot get it out of my head. No, Dune
Hans
2
really popped off.
Oh no. There's something about this theme. It's just like I've been humming it all day. I can't get this movie out of my head. I saw it opening night. I just got the excitement of a movie being in theaters, and the theaters were just like, I mean, last time I feel like it was Barbenheimer, right? Like people going to the theaters for, like, this is an event, we got to go see it. And that's just like the vibe I got. And I got to tell you, I was stunned when the movie was over. Like, I almost I couldn't even, like, grasp, like, what the hell did we just watch? Like, it was just like my body, it was just sitting, like, on the top of my, like, in my head. Like, I wasn't able to just, like, fully grasp what we saw. And I had to wake up the next morning to watch it again because it was just like, oh my gosh, like I need to relive it. Because I think the first you're just so like stunned, and obviously visually it's just you're just like there's like a shock that just like rolls in your body. It's like, dude, like just visually it's beautiful. And it's just
Did you watch it in IMAX the first time?
I have not watched it in IMAX, and it's nearly impossible to watch it like in IMAX. It's like sold out here. It's like insane. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm probably gonna go see it. It's a big deal. I got sick this past week, so I want to go see it for a third time. But I'm definitely gonna hit up IMAX because I guess that's the only way to watch it because that's all everyone's talking about.
This past Sunday saw it in IMAX for the third time.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw it the day before in IMAX. So I saw it 2 days in a row in IMAX.
Good for you.
Stop thinking about it. I was like, oh my God. And I still can't stop thinking about it.
I cannot stop thinking about it. It's special. It's one of those things that you're just like, wow, like what was I doing with my life before Dune?
Yes. Did you have you read the book? Or
no.
Okay.
I've never read the book. I had a science teacher who was obsessed with Dune, and I feel like I remember in high school my teacher it was just like one of those like rainy days, and he just like, let's watch Dune, which is like respect. Yeah, if you're a teacher, right?
David Lynch's Dune.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched that Dune, and just like this is old, and I don't care, which is so silly because I love Star Wars so much, right? And I'm just like, I just didn't get into it. But the first Dune I watched, it came out during the pandemic, so I watched it at home, but I really didn't get into it just because I don't know, I wasn't it was just like, okay, maybe I needed to be sat in a theater, just have like terrible like attention span, especially for a movie that scale, and plus it's just what a disservice for me to not to watch it in a theater. But I watched the first Dune before. I said, I'm going to lock myself in my room. I'm going to put this thing on full blast, and I'm going to watch it before the part 2 comes out. And then sure enough, I absolutely enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, cool. Didn't have to wait that long. Part 2. I have a ticket for part 2. Can't wait. And holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit. So good.
I was like, I haven't read the books, but I was aware of Dune before they made the movie. Like I was aware of it, like Dune, I also had a teacher in high school who was obsessed with Dune. And so like I knew like the kind of like general vibe of it, but not like details. I didn't know I didn't know most of like what the story was. So I saw the first part, I was into it. When I rewatched it again, I rewatched it maybe like an hour before going to see part 2, and I was like, oh yeah, here we go. And so now I've hyperfixation, I'm in it. I'm going to start reading Dune, and then I'm going to read Dune Messiah, and so on and so forth, because I'm just like, I need to like stay in it because it feels like great to be in it right now.
It feels so good to be in it right now. Honestly, I'm like you. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking like, do I want to just pick up Dune Messiah and just like pick it up and like just read off? But I kind of want to do what you're doing. I kind of want to read Dune first and then Dune Messiah.
Especially because my friend Hunter is super, like he is like Dune guy to me.
That's cool.
He said that a lot of stuff is different in the movies than in the book, which like typical. So I want to see both sides of that.
Yeah.
So I want that's like why I really want to read it. Plus they of course leave stuff out to condense it into a 2.5 hour movie. Yeah. I'm really stoked. I'm so excited. I want to see it again.
I do too. Honestly, I want to say I think what the reaction I got from watching Dune 2, and maybe this might be like a crazy but I'm not. I'm just gonna full-heartedly like 100% say that I got this feeling, and I've talked about it on this podcast a lot, is when I watched Attack of the Clones and I walked out of that theater and I was just like, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
I genuinely feel like that way too. And I've had great movie theater experiences, obviously, like with all our Marvel movies, you probably with Top Gun Maverick, but there's something just like, wow, like I was transported into this other like universe, and I just want to like be in it. I want more of it.
Yeah.
I like I don't know, like just give me like backstories, give me like this is my new
No, you're so true.
I don't know. There's something, I'm just like completely like, I just want to live in this universe for as long as I can, and I just want more of it. Like I'm just so fascinated. I even remember after I watched before I saw Dune 2, I did go and I did go on YouTube because I wanted to just to make sure I got like the gist of like the lore before, and just like, dude, like just even like just some of the crazy shit that I've like heard on just like, you know, with the people on like Dune fans on YouTube like talking about it. It's like, dude, like I want to like I just want to get into it. I have not felt that way honestly since I saw Attack of the Clones in 2002. Like I've not had that experience where I'm just like, dude, like I want to learn more. I want to be in this universe. Like this just opened up, just brought in like just expanded my mind. Just like holy shit.
I honestly feel like, and maybe we can toy with this in the future, I don't know, we could do an entire episode just talking about Dune. We could do that for like a compacted episode.
Oh, dude. We can do a couple episodes on Dune.
And I can, like, I know people that are like the Duners. They're called the Duners.
Well, I want to be part of the Duners myself. So, but
I was recently knighted as a Duner by my friend.
Were you Hunter. Really? What an honor!
I was declared a Duner, and it was the highest honor.
What an honor!
That's how you know I'm in it. I'm like,
yeah, that's all. No, dude, it's literally all I can think about. I'm just like constantly going online, and I'm just like reading stuff. I'm just like, dude, like, just give it to me. I'm just
now like the part of my brain that's like the costume side of my brain is like, I need to do this.
I was gonna say, like, what are you? Yeah, see, because in you know what? It's funny how your costume brain went off. I straight up went on YouTube and I was looking for like Dune like collectibles and like.
Oh, same. I've been on eBay.
Like, what can I start? I think I need a Dune shelf. Like, let's go.
Same. Yeah. I'm like, where can I put a shelf in here?
Yeah, I know. I'm just literally like ready. Yeah, but I love that for us. I like that. Honestly, it's so much fun to kind of, you know, experience new things and like, you know, just really just be. I mean, just that whole story just is so like. I mean, how cool for us to go to a movie, sit in a fucking in a 3-hour movie, to leave and be like, I gotta go fucking see that again. Yeah, like I have to admit, like this has to be how people felt when they saw the first Star Wars. Like, holy shit, like. Dude, like I'm just like whatever the fuck that was, I want to do. It needs to happen again. I need it. Yeah, it was just so good.
While Top Gun Maverick, it will always be my favorite movie.
Of course,
you know how I feel about Top Gun.
Yeah, of course.
I also, when I left the theater for the first time and the second and the third time, I was like, for Dune Part 2, I was like, this is the best thing I think I've ever seen.
Me too.
Like everything.
I know. I left like
lost for words.
Like, I left stunned. Like it was, and I think everybody in my theater, when the credits rolled, no one got up. I think we were all kind of like taking it all in. It was such a weird thing. Like no one got up. There was like nobody was talking, and because you know usually at the end of the movie everyone just gets up and like. And I don't think, because it's not like nobody was waiting. The vibe wasn't like, let's see. There's a post-credit scene. That wasn't the vibe. That was the vibe of just like, holy shit, what did we just watch? Yeah, we were processing. And it took me fucking a while to process. I went home processing. I woke up in the morning, I processing. I was just like, dude, what is... So I feel like that's a movie you have to go and see a few times, especially on the big screen, to really just like... I mean, the first time you see it, you're just like, you're so stunned. You don't even know what the hell hit you. The second time, you're able to kind of like really like, as far as like really follow along in the story a little bit, because you kind of know what's going to happen, but you're able to kind of pick up on like other details. But I feel like, oh my gosh, then the more you see it, the more you're able to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like more. And that's just so cool.
You know how like theater experiences for the most part have not been great lately. Just people bad, awful theater etiquette.
Yeah, like Madam Web was the fucking movie before Dune 2.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on that.
Madam Web was the movie before that was the release before Dune Part 2.
Don't get me started on that. But like, you know, people just are talking on their phones in the middle of the movie, like just on their phones scrolling full brightness, ringers on, everything. Just the etiquette has been trash. All 3 showings I've been to for Dune 2, not a single issue with anyone at any point. It was like I was not like real.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
not
shocking.
Weird. It's amazing. It's just an incredible. I mean, especially like in our day and age and how we consume media, how we consume movies and shows, and the discussion between like, you know, these big budget movies, but they're like, you know, we're at the point where it's like, okay, we expect the spectacle, obviously, because of, you know, how more movies and how incredible their production is, and how like we expect spectacle. We get that already, but we need a good story, and I feel like that's been really lacking in some movies. It's like, okay, the audience expects they know you're going to deliver like visually amazing movie, but like, what do you really like? What are your movies trying to tell? Like, what are they trying to say? Like, and I think that's the trap that Marvel has fallen in. I feel like recently, it's just like, okay, like, what is the story trying to tell us, or where are we going? And I think, I don't know, like, I feel like as an audience, especially with something like Dune, it's like, don't treat the audience like they can't understand a movie.
It was so fresh.
Yeah, definitely fresh. Like, I feel like, oh man, we were spoiled. Now I'm gonna be like grading every other movie that comes after that.
Literally, it's ruined every other movie for me.
It has.
What I wanted to show you regarding Dune 2, this was waiting for me when I got home today.
The hell did you get? Is that the art book?
The art and soul of Dune.
Is that the one on Amazon, right? Did you get it on Amazon?
I got it, actually, weirdly enough. I'm sorry, that was upside down.
I know what you meant though, because I've been looking at that. Oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
Just do a random page open.
Okay, because I haven't opened it yet.
Oh my god, do a random
here's
page
the front
open.
of it, by the way. Ooh.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got it on Target because it technically released today.
Oh, okay.
I think, unless it was on pre-order because they all sold out. I don't know. So it arrived today, and while it was on pre-order, I got it on sale from Target when it was on pre-order. I think.
Wait, let me see. Let me just look it up right now. I'm over here just like.
Let's see if it's still on sale at Target. Because I had.
My friends, I am on my phone right now. Okay, just flip. Give me a page. Just
okay.
Do a random page flip.
Oh, not that one. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
And it says desert power.
Oh yes. Cool.
I want to do
desert power.
Let's see. No, not that one.
Are these spoilers or are they inappropriate?
It's just
are they just words?
Words. I'm getting a whole bunch of words. Oh.
Let me see. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Lisan Al-Gaib.
Lisan Al-Gaib.
Lisan Al-Gaib.
Oh my god.
I'm obsessed.
I can't wait to look through all this.
I'm gonna order right now. I'm gonna order my book.
Also, I have a statement to make.
Please.
The last podcast episode, I made a statement apologizing to anyone who follows me on socials for talking about Dune. I'm not sorry. That is my statement.
There's no need to apologize.
Because I was like, I'm so sorry to anyone who follows me on socials because all I'm talking about is Dune right now. And you know what? I'm not sorry.
I texted Riley. I said, just to let you know, we're going to talk about Dune like the first 10, 15 minutes of this podcast episode, just because I need to. Because I just want to talk about it anytime I have an opportunity to talk about it. Yeah. Like my poor dogs and my cat. I've been sick all week. They're just
they're your audience.
Just talking about it any chance I get. I went to an Oscars party. My husband's aunt they throw an Oscar party every time it's out, and that's fun. We go and do our ballot and eat and drink, and it's fun time, right? But I went and I was just on my fucking soapbox saying, "Oh, this time next year, Dune Part 2 is gonna sweep this entire award show." And they're like, but it's released in March and early. They'll probably forget about it. I'm like, absolutely not. No one's forgetting about this movie. I said, and it would do all you good if you guys all tomorrow morning when you wake up, go watch Dune Part 2 if you haven't.
And I'm pretty sure when the first one came out, it won
that's
bunch of awards.
When Zendaya walked on stage to present, I'm like, oh, that's the star. That's Chani from Dune Part 2.
Yep.
Just like Dune Part 2. Desert Power.
So if you haven't seen Dune Part 2, and for some reason this did not convince you to go, why?
Please explain to us. Why don't you want to see Dune Part 2? Why? Why not? Don't hurt me. My feelings, please, sir.
This is your sign. This is your sign. You go. If you can watch it in IMAX or XD or whatever is like equivalent to IMAX, because I know it's like a copyright thing, go. Watch it how it's supposed to be watched in all of its magnificence, please. I beg of you. It's so good.
But you guys get our drift, right?
You get it.
You get it. Please go watch Dune.
Dune Agenda.
Please, Dune Agenda. Please
Thanks
go watch
for tuning in. Episode's over, everyone.
Thanks for tuning over. Fly friends, believe it or not, we do have something to talk about. It's the Bad Batch. But thank you all so much for not being friends who judge us, for accepting us for who we are. We like to be open and honest on this podcast. Again, we are just want to be ourselves. And thank you so much, Fly friends, for allowing us to talk about
Dune for 25 minutes.
Dune Part 2, because that's all we could fucking think about.
Yeah.
But Riley, we did have to take a break from Dune Part 2 and watch The Bad Batch this week.
That is so true.
And we were rewarded with not one, but 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. Yes, Infiltration and Extraction, episode 6 and 7 of The Bad Batch. Crazy episode. It was action-packed, which we do like in our Bad Batch episodes. A lot of great character moments, a lot of great character reunions, and looks like what's setting us up to be the last half of the season. But
don't say that.
Yeah, Riley, I feel like we're getting to that halfway point, but we're setting up to see obviously what's going to be happening towards the end. Great first 2 episodes. After watching the 2 episodes, it makes sense why they would release both episodes at the same time. But Riley, overall, what did you think of 6 and 7?
I, first of all, loved it, obviously. I love clones. The entire 2 episodes were just all clones, not just some clones. It was all clones.
Yeah.
Was it? The entire time, all clones.
Yeah, D. Bradley Baker had it was just
was there a single character that, aside from like
Chuchi and Sing,
but aside from that, all clones the entire time, right?
Yeah, for the most part, it was just mainly
marvelous.
Clones. Yeah, it was great. Bad Batch, they reunite with an ally who's in need, and that ally is none other than Captain Rex. So we got a nice little Captain Rex reunion. Which is really fun. But yeah, so we open up the episode really just kind of starts off with Rex helping Senator Chuchi and Senator Singh as they discuss their alliances against the Empire, which you're starting to see the beginning seeds of the rebellion, which is really, really cool. The last time we saw Chuchi, she met with Bail Organa in the last season. The conversation really goes that, hey, the Emperor is concerned. And but we got some really cool moments there. which I love Senator Chuchi, and every time I see her, I get really excited, and I'm glad to know that she's doing okay.
Yeah, she's still kicking.
Still kicking, because
you never know in this world.
Never know in this world, in this part of the timeline of like who's gonna make it. The conversations are cut short because there is an assassination attempt by this Clone X trooper. Thankfully, Rex was able to stop that with his rogues. It was really fun to kind of see some clones. Riley, how did you? What do you think overall of the assassination attempt? The meeting of the politicians, all that stuff.
It was really exciting for me to see that they were still finding ways to meet in secret about getting out of there. I loved seeing all of the clones and that they weren't necessarily in hiding. The assassination attempt, obviously I'm on like their side, but I was like, man, they're sloppy, very sloppy. Very easy for them to get caught. It was just kind of like started off hot.
Yeah, they're not just like in hiding, like they're obviously like still like trying to assist, and help. I mean, essentially just really help, like kind of like the seeds, again, the beginning seeds of the rebellion, which is really, really cool. They get a hold of this data pad, right? After this clone tries to assassinate him, they get a hold of this data pad, and they find out that not only that they're trying to take out they're actually on the look for Omega too. So that was a nice like a holy shit, I gotta let the rest of them know.
The bounty hunter puck, basically.
Is that that's what it is, right?
Basically what it is, yeah.
We go to Rex's base camp, which is really cool. Nice little setup that they have there. And like tons of plants. It looks really remote, tons of plants, and he has his little crew is growing. He had quite a few clones on that base with him.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I like seeing, obviously him and Echo have been hard at work. So we're basically seeing the payoff of what Echo was doing that whole time when he wasn't with us.
But they capture this clone assassin guy. I feel like we have not mentioned the star of this reunion. We're not only reunited with Rex, we're reunited with
Mr. Handsome.
Mr. Handsome. And I'm gonna pull him up right here. Look at Hauser. Oh my gosh.
Captain Hauser. What a man indeed.
What a man, definitely what a man of this podcast episode. But it was really cool to see him see him back in the episode. Obviously they call the batch to be like, hey, you guys need to come, we have something to tell you guys, just so they can let them know. Like Omega's on a hit list, so y'all gotta figure something out.
Yeah, which Hauser's not too keen on that, because I think at that point they know that Crosshair is with them again. So, and obviously like it's understandable that Hauser's like, no. But I will admit, I was kind of like, Hauser, I need you to relax, please, just for like a minute.
Yeah, I know, but you have to like understand. Like
I absolutely get it.
Yeah, but he was a little
because he wasn't just like being that way towards Crosshair. He was just like biting back at Rex. He was biting back at the rest of the batch. He was like, no, and it's just kind of like, okay, if you're gonna be angry, direct it, not just outward.
Just outward hangry. Yeah, the reunion was a little bit like really, really tense, and poor Crosshair, but I mean that's just part of it's just consequences. Like that's something that he has to like really kind of like deal with. And I mean we know that Hauser lost all his men due to Crosshair, so I got a little heated. But I mean, overall I like those type of reunions though, that are just like, oh shit, something's about to hit the fan here.
Very emotionally charged.
It really was. And I mean, we've seen that throughout since the season started. Like this is just Crosshair's season, and him having to I mean, come face to face with his brothers the last episode really, and kind of, but now he has to kind of like really kind of just deal like it head on. Like just kind of like these are just consequences, and these are people that he's kind of have to like deal with and answer to. Like, he was on the wrong side. So what can you? But yeah, yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I feel like he's also, because I guess these 2 previous episodes, you could tell that Crosshair was not ready to answer for anything. He was kind of actively avoiding discussing what had happened in the past. But in this episode, you can see that he's like, okay, he's like allowing himself to be confronted by what he had done in his past and his mistakes, and he's like, you know what, yes, and I'm no longer with them. That's all you need to know. I know you don't trust me, but this is the truth.
Well, when they catch that assassin guy, they take out that chip, or the one that he bites down, whatever. And then they find out, okay, well, what the heck does Omega really want? Or what do they want with Omega, right? And then they finally ask Omega. I thought they weren't gonna like, they kind of confront Omega, like, hey, like, what is the deal and what do they want? She finally says, like, well, Nala Se, I'm important because Nala Se has obviously been like protecting me because there's experiments that are going on in Mount Tantus. So that kind of like comes like to light that there's experiments going on over there, not just with me. The other clone, every clone that goes to Mount Tantus is being experimented on. And that she was working on a project involving like an M count. And Rex had mentioned that he's heard about M counts before. It was kind of like, okay, now we're really kind of like this is why I feel like, okay, we're kind of setting up the stage. Now Rex is involved. Now they finally understand, okay, well, what's going on? It's obviously serious. They didn't just like, Omega and Crosshair aren't just prisoners that just escape. Like, obviously Omega, they're after her now. She's important because obviously Crosshair's not on that data pad either. They didn't just piss off people. Like, she's obviously important. So that's now coming to light. And there's now a problem that they have to face. One, our brothers being, tortured and programmed. Obviously you see this assassin that is trying to kill them. He's brainwashed. I think they had a name for him. CT, what was it? I forget the name, but he was like number 7 or something. So there's obviously like at least 7 of these guys who are just like brainwashed and just like
super soldiers.
Their identity is just just completely just thrown out the window. So again, we're starting to set up the stage of like what we can see from this entire season. And it just it's setting up to be an exciting one. But then are we introduced to this new soldier thing that comes in the fold in this episode?
Yeah. The one that comes to finish the job?
Yeah, so there's this new assassin that comes in.
Because he was like in the same kind of like assassin that the captured guy was with, except he says something very interesting when I think, is it Scorch that tells him that he has to go find the one that they've captured? He says, "Why was I activated?"
Yeah,
like, so he wasn't active before.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Super soldiers. That's probably like the best way I would kind of compare that with, right?
And we can talk about this in a bit, but this is feeding into my theory.
What's the theory? Come on. I think is it everyone else's theory? Is this Tech?
Tech is Bucky Barnes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have evidence. I have evidence from these 2 episodes. I'm so excited to share because it.
Give me the evidence right now. Let's just get into it.
All right.
Okay. So everyone. They spend a lot of time. In this episode. Really, it's just like you want us to get attached to this super assassin, and he just like obviously he stands out. He looks far more impressive than the last one, obviously. So what's so special about this one, right? But yes, everyone, I mean, I think anybody that wants the Tech Lives little nuggets that we get that it may be tech.
Weirdly, I've seen that apparently there are people that think that it's Cody.
A lot of people think that it's Cody. I feel like half and half. A lot of people think it's Cody.
I don't know why people think it's Cody, though.
Yeah, because I feel like Cody, by this time I feel like Cody would have been reunited with Rex, but who knows? Like I want a Cody answer. That's my thing of the season.
Yeah.
Where's Cody at?
Where is he?
And we may never not get an answer. Who knows? But
because he was talking to Crosshair about leaving, and Crosshair's like, no. So where'd he go?
But people thought, like, they may have said, well, he left on his own will, or they may have just captured him and turned him.
Yeah.
So anyways, Riley, I know you're on this tech is Bucky Barnes, but you said you brought evidence, so please bring it to the table.
First of all, when I first watched the episode, there was, I can't even tell you why, but in my brain it registered like, oh, that's tech, obviously. There was a specific mannerism that he did when he's chasing that. We'll circle back into like the chase afterward, but like there's a mannerism when they're like going through the jungle, I guess, area. And he's running and he like turns a certain way that wasn't in just like a normal like clone like or anyone turning around. It was just like a specific like tech mannerism that I was just kind of like But so everything starts popping off. I need to circle back to like so I can get to where my evidence comes in. Everything starts popping off. They were like, oh, we captured the guy. And Crosshair's like, no, why is he alive? They have trackers. Yeah. And he's like, oh no, we scanned him. And he was like, no, there are trackers that you cannot pick up on scans. They're smarter than that. Hemlock designed it, blah, blah, blah. They go in and they meet this clone that they've captured. Immediately, Crosshair knows who that is.
I know. They had like a connection, right?
I don't know if they're going to explain that in the future. They might, because they're going to be like, why did you do that? Because he was like, if you want to know what's going on, why don't you ask him? Isn't that right, brother? Or something like that. And that's when Hauser's again like,
Hauser's like, yeah, you're one of them. Yeah, there's something fishy going on here.
Crosshair's like, no, he's lying. He was like, we have to leave now. But he, like, you can see, he's not just like mad. He's like, I want to say frightened.
He looked frightened. That's the reaction I got. He was like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not like, it was like a weird, the delivery of, it sounded, he was frightened, he was scared.
Which we don't usually see from him. That's why.
What the hell did they do to them?
I know. And they're like, he's like, no, he's lying. I'm not with them, but we have to go. And we're like, well, how do you know? Like later on, they're like, how do you know? And he was like, because they tried to make me one of them and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Into the evidence now. Our backup assassin that's been hired to come get this other assassin and the targets,
which they like to hold on the shots. They want us to really pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Assassin. But yes, go ahead.
They zoom in. He sees that it's Omega. Our new super soldier shoots his bestie as soon as that door opens because he's not even caring about what's on the other side. He's I'm gonna get a shot off. Then everything starts popping off. Things start falling. The building is crumbling.
Where the hell is Batcher? Is he safe? Is he all right?
Exactly. And then you think that our super soldier friend is dead, but no, he emerges. Bestie Wolf decides to make an appearance. He is not our bestie at the moment, but he once was, so that's very sad. Here's the first bit of evidence. Wolf instructs him like, hey, I'm calling the shots here. We need them alive, or we need her alive.
Yeah, put them on stun, right? The blasters on stun,
And they're like, we're not chasing them. We're gonna do it this way instead. Don't continue to go follow and try to get them that way. Assassin decides that he's not going to listen to that. And he sneaks past and goes down. one of the other clones just like, hey, he's kind of gone rogue on you and he's still pursuing them. Do you want me to do something about that? And Wolf was like, no. I didn't think of this until I was rewatching earlier. I was like, okay, he disobeyed a direct order. And then it reminds me of the last thing that Tech ever said.
When have we ever followed orders?
Mm-hmm. That was my first bit of evidence.
Yeah, because he's one of like that's just what the Bad Batch, they don't follow orders. Even like, yeah, and to Crosshair's defense, when he said, well, why aren't you one of them? And he's like, I'm just defective. I just don't, that's just in my nature. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then even Crosshair says, well, once they put you through the program and it's successful, I guess, it changes you.
Yeah.
And I think if it is Tech, which I'm pretty sure it is.
I know.
They found Tech after he had just fallen from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was in any kind of fighting chance to resist whatever they were doing.
Oh no, you're
the when have we ever followed orders, and then him like completely disobeying. Any of the other clones would not have done that. Mm-hmm. They would have been like, okay, yeah, Wolf's in charge, I'm gonna do what he says. Even if I don't like it, I'm gonna do what he says. Assassin was not into it.
Can you remind me, did you pick up on anything like, as far as you talk about like, it just like you said, like it looked like Tech, but was he messing around like any like with like, I don't know, did they, I feel like they lingered on a lot of like
he was
stuff. Like
he was fidgeting with I don't know the technical term for it, so
I know. Sorry. Yeah, but he was fidgeting with buttons and it looked very techy.
On his arm.
Yes.
Even though they were broken and the ruckus that happened. So he's pursuing them. Crosshair decides he's going to have a little standoff with him as he could like pushes the others to keep going to get away. He shoots at our assassin friend. I'm gonna say friend because it's Tech. He's not our friend at the moment, but he shoots at him. He misses because of his hand. They get pursued through the jungle, and then that's when I see that mannerism that I'm just like, that is Tech. Mm-hmm. He like turned a certain way that was like a specific kind of like stance, and I was like, I've only ever seen Tech do that ever. Crosshair is still trying to get the others to safety, and he decides he's gonna start going after him again, and they start fighting and they start shooting at each other, and they go down the river to the waterfall. Basically, the assassin got the upper hand on Crosshair. He's holding Crosshair, trying to drown him. He's like, I'm gonna finish the job. He says, you had your chance to be one of us. You chose the wrong side. And at first glance, I'm like, oh, he's talking about like their little secret squad. But then I was like,
is he talking about
the Bad Batch?
Bad Batch, yeah.
And I don't think he was talking about the Empire. But in addition to this, I am 90% sure that if it's Tech, Crosshair knows it's Tech. I think he knows.
Yeah, because they haven't, it's not like they've talked about Tech. They've never brought it up. There hasn't been any sort of, and I feel like that's what we've all been waiting for, especially going into the season, right? Of like, oh, we want to be in that moment where Crosshair has to come to terms that, Tech died. Like where, when are we going to see that? And he hasn't seen that yet. So does he already know?
Because there was the last episode, there was that one line. Yeah, there was that one line.
Oh,
that
I'm
was
stressed.
Like, oh, well, if Tech were here, he could like get this data pad up and running. That was like last episode. Crosshair didn't really say anything. I know. If this is Tech, I think Crosshair knows it's Tech. I think that's why he was so alarmed and afraid when he saw that other assassin still alive and they locked eyes, because he knew that Crosshair knew. And he's like, why don't you tell them?
Yeah.
I may be just delusional. If I'm delusional, that's fine. Even if
it's
I'm
okay.
delusional,
you know what?
True, I've made a wonderful case for myself.
Let me tell you, I'm in the camp where I did not want Tech to come back. Yeah. But I'm also like, I want him to come back. Does that make sense? Because I'm just like, I'm very like, okay, like if characters in Star Wars are gone, like let's just let them be gone. And I kind of want that to just be like the Bad Batch's like way of facing like a difficult time of like grieving somebody and losing someone, and that's just life. It happens. But it's just like, okay, now with listening to Riley and hearing the Bucky Barnes of it all, I'm just like, gosh, that is so fascinating. You know, for them to kind of like use, you know, one of them against their, I don't know. It's just, that's just like another, now you're like, it's like now Tech is taking over the place of Crosshair, which by the way, Tech and Crosshair are probably the most like more interesting of the Batchers, with the storylines that they're getting, if that's the case. But my gosh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm so conflicted because I'm just like, I can go either way, but there's just something in me that's always just like going to be like annoyed when someone who kind of comes back. But again, no one is dead in Star Wars unless you see like the body. That's just how it is.
We never saw a body.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. So yes, we've seen other people come back from the dead in like crazier circumstances, so it could happen, you know.
And I mentioned in the last episode because I was also talking about the Tech is Bucky Barnes thing, because I recorded that before I saw these 2 episodes. And so I was saying that yes, it would make it feel like his sacrifice was for nothing, but also it's just the fact that yes, Tech died, and it felt, even at the time, so unceremonious.
Yeah, it just kind of, he just went down, right? Like,
it went down, and it wasn't really lingered on at all.
At all.
Hasn't
it was
been
kind
talked
of quick.
about. And Jamie last episode was saying, well, yeah, but it's been like 6 months since it happened, roughly, if we're like counting the tally that Omega was keeping. I was like, yes. And she was saying how they're kind of conditioned to be ready to lose people because they're clones.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, but Omega wasn't conditioned that way, and she's barely said anything either. The fact that it was so unceremonious, his death, there's just no way he's actually dead, because if he actually died and they had just kind of like, well, Tech's dead, I would have been like, what the hell?
Hi friends, for those who are just listening on audio, but I put the image of Crosshair fighting this assassin near the waterfalls, and this looks like a very personal fight, right? The way it's staged.
Yes.
Not just like, oh my gosh, this guy's really good, he's almost got me, but there's just like personal, I don't know, it looks personal here. Yeah. So I'm now imagining this is Tech versus Crosshair. And I'm more of like, wow.
It's
Look
just
what you've done to make Crosshair. I'm here because of you.
That one line, and literally
that one line, actually, now that you said it, now I'm just like, wow. I wasn't just in the way when that line, it was just more like, you could have been one of us. I meant like one of these super soldiers. But now that you're just like, now you just put a different spin on it. That just seems so heavy.
I thought that the first time I watched it the other day, and then literally right before we started recording this, I had watched it again, and I had like an epiphany. And it's the same on the rewatches when I had the Whenever We Ever Followed Orders epiphany. And so that is what opened my third eye to, you had your chance to be one of us, you chose the wrong side.
But do they know of like their former lives? Like, how does that work?
I think they do.
They do. They're just more like...
Or if they normally don't, going based off of what like Crosshair was saying of like, oh, I guess I was too defective. Maybe they normally don't, but Tech does, because he's not a reg.
Yeah, you're right.
So it may not have had the same effect on him if he remembers, but now he's like how Crosshair said, if it works on you, you're different. So in the way that he's different, he's just very angry and homicidal.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. But when I was just watching it right before we started recording, and I was like, I already thought it was Tech just based off like that movement I saw. But like, I was like, oh, I'm cooking now.
I forget which part in the, we're talking about these 2 episodes as a whole. So, because it's just one big, it's just one. Yeah, it's just one big episode. We put it together. I'm trying to remember. There was, because I saw a screen grab on Twitter of like the heat signature, and it looks like of the who supposedly might be tech, but it's the heat signature. There's no. It looks like animatronic like legs. That's not the right term. But it doesn't look like
bionic.
Yeah, not animatronic. But yeah, there's a heat signature and the legs are not. Yeah, it's not like.
Oh my god, guys, he's Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, and that's the first thing when I thought about that. I was like, dude, that's Riley's Bucky Barnes thing. If it's tech, everyone who has ever told me it was not tech and that I was being ridiculous and delusional owes me $5. I don't think so. I think that's just where the fandom is. They're just kind of split in the middle.
Isn't that a good case though? Like that's
a great case.
That's tech.
I know. I'm very
tech. It's gonna be so fucked up.
I know. I'm very. But I'm also nervous. I'm like, gosh, are people going to be pissed if it isn't tech? Like Riley, because you're so. I just want to know, like, as a fan, you're on this. Would you be disappointed? Would you just be like, oh, damn it, or are you going to be like,
I'd be like disappointed, but not in like a way that mattered. I'd just be like, oh, yeah, like that sucks.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I would be more disappointed if it turned out to not really like be
anyone
we know.
Yeah, because I just feel like they lingered so much on this specific, like, I don't know. We've seen, I don't know. They just lingered on this clone a little bit too much, I feel like.
And even when he was kind of like, he decided he wasn't gonna not pursue them and he goes down into the hole in the ground. I don't know how to explain it, but the people that are like tech knowers, he moved in a certain way.
Yeah.
That was like not like, okay, I'm just gonna do this and like jump down. He was like very like half committed to like sneaking.
I gotta rewatch this. That's hecka funny.
I'm just gonna hop down here actually. And I was just like, oh, it's just tech, guys. It's tech. If it is tech though, it's just gonna be oh no.
His name is CX2.
CX2.
So the other one was CX7, right? The first one they caught.
The one that got shot?
Yeah.
Do you...
Tell me. Okay, this one had like, I don't know, did you feel like the CX2, maybe obviously because when they were going up the tunnel and how obviously Crosshair has this tremor, so it's really hard for him to shoot. So he's obviously a good shooter. I don't know, like, do you feel like they were picking at like Crosshair to use like his DNA and to make him a good shooter? He was just a really good shooter. And maybe like, I don't know. He just seemed like a Crosshair to me.
He did a little bit.
He seemed like a Crosshair to me. I don't know, just like also, in his sniper modes, like he just really advanced his like sniper techniques. And maybe he just looked good because Crosshair looks like shit right now. He can't do it. Maybe but I just feel like, man, he's really good at sniping.
But also, you noticed how he took out the vibroblade. It was very Hunter.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, I feel like, is he just a mix of all of them?
What if?
I don't know. What are they doing on that damn lab? Because, like...
What if their little secret clone project of assassins...
Of getting
is getting, like, whatever clones they're deciding to try to make a certain way, trying to reprogram to be what the Bad Batch was.
I know. Like, they're all just trying to... And they're making them all... They're getting all special capabilities from each batch.
But the one that was caught obviously was not very good at what they were doing.
Obviously not. That CX7, it's like, maybe he's just
CX2, he was obviously very good because he was already a member of the Bad Batch. So they didn't really have to reprogram much.
Got you, yeah.
I could literally just be
I don't know. We're
talking out of my ass here.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how I feel. I mean, and that's the best part about speculating. We're just like talking out of our ass, and that's the best part. And Fly Friends, I know you guys can all like agree, like this is the best part, and I hope this is what you get out of it. This is just what's fun about this, like this is just a conversation of us, just like, yeah, we're talking out of our ass because we're just really just like, dude, like we just don't know what could happen at this point. And that's what's really fun.
I also had one other thing about their designation numbers. So the one that was caught, CX7. So he's obviously the 7th clone that they've tried it on.
Yes.
CX2 is our little bestie Tech. But CX1...
Yeah. Or Cody. Just kidding.
The thing is, CX1 was probably Crosshair. And it didn't work on him.
Yeah, because he was defective.
So Crosshair was the first one. That's what all those tests were. When we see him at the end of season 2 and he's strapped down, they're trying to make him super soldier. So at the same time that that's happening, Tech has just quote unquote died.
Yeah.
And so they go and find Tech and they realize he's still alive. And so he's the second person in that program. Crosshair is number 1. Tech is number 2 because they found him half alive. Another case of why this is Tech.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could also just be talking out of my ass. It could be nothing.
I know, because it's like, what was so special about the CX7? Obviously nothing if he's number 7 and he's like getting caught. There was what? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. This is crazy. It's wild. It's whatever it is, I feel like we're just getting closer to know exactly what are these tests. What are they doing to all these clones? But I'm just freaking excited. I'm just like, what the hell is going on? I have more questions than I have answers at this point. I think that's probably like a really fun place to be at this point of the season.
Before we move on, there are 2 very special things from these 2 episodes to me that we cannot glaze past, and the immediate closeness, well, not immediate, but like from where we started with them, of Crosshair and Omega, to the point where in the first of the episodes that we're covering, they're on the ship heading to go see Rex, and Hunter looks over his shoulder and he sees Omega has a little toothpick and she's leaning back and she's like watching someone. He looks over and she's watching Crosshair, who has his little toothpick, and he's like minding his business, doing whatever. And so Omega has suddenly become Crosshair's little shadow, which is like so cute to me. But also I feel like Hunter, kind of drawing back on the episode prior of Crosshair being like, you're just jealous or you're just mad because I saved her and you didn't. And now Hunter is seeing that she's copying his mannerisms.
Yeah, he's upset. He's like, she didn't wear my bandana.
Yeah, because she used to be his little shadow.
Yeah. Hopefully he does not draw on that too much, because it's like, listen, they both went through a traumatic experience, and escaping, they're in prison together, and escaping together is both like, that's just a traumatic experience. So Hunter, get the hell over it.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, but Hunter is a character that I'm whatever about.
Really?
I am. I just don't.
Whoa.
I know. That's crazy to say, but I'm saying it. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Hunter is just like, I don't know. To me, the more compelling characters are Crosshair, now Omega. I don't know. Besides him being like the leader of the pack, like what emotionally, like what has he?
I feel like he's lost his way.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to balance all these characters, really.
I feel like he does not know who he is anymore. So he's kind of lost his, not that he's not unique, but he's kind of lost what makes him him.
Yeah.
By trying to juggle everything else. And I think that's why he's coming across as like, well, it's just Hunter. It's kind of like, at the moment, yeah, he is. Because he doesn't even know what he's doing. Yeah,
like for like even like last season, like I felt like Tech was just like, he just had a lot of cool moments, and like really developed as a character. I just haven't really been getting that with Hunter.
Yeah, which I feel like now that there's conflict with him and Crosshair,
which will be a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, I think we'll start getting more of Hunter's vibe this season.
Hopefully,
for lack of a better word.
And now with the whole like, what the hell do they want with Omega? You know, like he can't just be like, we got to keep hiding and running off. Like we need to kind of like face this head on at this point.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see that more, but I don't know. Just Hunter's been just falling flat for me a little bit, and it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard for character, especially with a character like an ensemble this big. You kind of have to. Yeah, I don't know. Just obviously, Crosshair just has the more exciting, compelling storyline for me. Obviously, Wrecker is just. I just like Wrecker because he's just like the personality of a Batcher. Batcher and Wrecker are like the same people.
Yeah.
That's just.
And maybe not only because they went through a very traumatic experience together, but maybe that's kind of also why Omega wasn't immediately back to being Hunter's shadow. She was kind of like, okay, I'm tired of us hiding all the time. I'm tired of you kind of like dulling what we're doing down. Crosshair is very direct and forward. I'm going to be his shadow for a bit until you've decided that you're actually going to have a spine. Not that he doesn't have a spine. Like, you guys know what I mean.
I don't know. Does he have a spine? Just kidding.
But like when they're being pursued by definitely Tech in the jungle, and
or Cody.
Yeah, if you squint and you're drunk and your eyes are closed, actually.
And you never watched the show before, yeah.
Everyone's gonna be like, "It's Cody! It's Cody!" And be like, "Nope, no,
it's more. I feel like definitely it could be Tech, yeah, for sure.
Did you guys hear that? I got her to get.
It
definitely.
Could be Tech.
But like when they're being pursued, and Crosshair is giving Omega direction and being like, "This is this way and that way and that way. This is how things are. Stay close." And she goes, "Ugh, you're just as bad as Hunter." He looks at her and he goes, "Oh, I'm much worse."
I like his
funny line.
I love this delivery of "you good." It's like I've never the "you good."
You good?
I absolutely love the delivery. So
it's so informal. It's so informal. It's so funny.
You good?
You good? Just the way. Oh, you're just like You're just as bad as Hunter's. Like,
what did you say? You got your
much
crossbow?
Worse.
You got your crossbow.
Yeah. Also, that moment where Echo like gives Omega the crossbow. Oh, it's so cute.
This crossbow, I'm putting it on the screen right now. This crossbow is freaking sick, dude.
It's amazing, and the sound. The sound design. I know it's very small detail when she activates it.
Absolutely not a small detail. It's great. It's fantastic.
Amazing sounds.
The music, great sounds. My gosh, this crossbow is freaking sick. And this crossbow's color, it's like that line, like that green color, like Ahsoka's lightsabers. So freaking sick, dude. Actually, I know we don't really see Tech. I'm sorry, not Tech. Echo. Echo just kind of drops him off in the beginning of the episode. We see him at the end when he picks him up. But he says like, what does he say? He got this from like. He
has connections.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I kind of want to see what these connections are. But yeah, dude, this crossbow's sick. And I actually really enjoy Echo and Omega's relationship.
I love Echo's my favorite.
I know he is.
I love him so much.
Yeah, I do
too. The begrudging, sassy father.
Yeah, no, for sure. The second episode, they're kind of like on the run, which is so crazy. They're trying to take off, and then you have Wolf and his guys, pursuing them. Then you have freaking, I don't know, Echo, not Echo. I'm sorry. You have Tech, DX2, and it's a pretty tense episode. But dude, like when Crosshair and CX2 were freaking, I thought for a split second that Crosshair was gonna bite it. And then he's about to, I get nervous. Honestly, at this point, I get nervous for certain characters. Obviously, Rex I know is going to be fine. So not too worried about Rex, but other characters, I'm just like, oh, geez, he's a little too close to that cliff. But I got, what a really sweet moment. You mentioned how Hunter or how Crosshair and Omega are having these like sweet moments develop, and we've seen it obviously in their relationship progress up until this point. So it's really sweet to see. But Hauser sees the progression. He's like, oh, maybe this guy's not too bad. He sees a relationship with Omega. So when they're having that waterfall fight and he's about to come down the cliff, Hauser saves Crosshair, which I thought was really a really cool moment.
I just love development.
I loved, throughout, especially like just, it's just like, I don't know, just like, you know, Hauser seeing it, and then, you know, Crosshair seeing how Hauser like can forgive, but just at the end, loyalty is what means everything to these guys. So I thought was pretty special. Got me choked up a little bit. I'm like, oh, Hauser. But dude,
what a man.
Let's talk about the end of the episode when Wolf finally catches up, and there's a reunion between Wolf and
Rex.
Wolf freaking sees Rex, dude, and he's just like, I thought you died in action. And he's like, well, I thought, he brings up, you know, we thought you died with the rest of the battalion when you went down with the cruiser. And he's like, well, that did happen, but I didn't die.
Yeah, I lost some good men.
Yeah. Man. I got me.
Seeing... It was also, I guess, just so weird because they've been decommissioning the clones. And it wasn't just like they were all commandos, because that's usually, I'm pretty sure that's usually the only clones they have still kicking around in the Empire on Mount Tantus that are like working for them. So to see these clones in their phase 2 armor, it kind of it shocked me seeing them, because they were just still, and they weren't even shinies, because before they started decommissioning everyone, they were all shinies. They had no paint schemes on their armor anymore. So seeing that these clones were not commandos and they still had the paint on their armor, I was just kind of like, what special task force are you part of that they're not like making you conform to whatever they had before?
I know. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, because it's like, you guys are just calling the shots here, right? I don't know. It's kind of
very specific that they had Wolf go after Rex.
I know. It was and it's pretty crazy. But yeah, he says he lost a lot of people that day. And the Wolf's like, kind of like, dude, what the hell? Why are you fighting against us? You're fighting against the Empire. And he says, I'm not fighting against you, dude. Rex is like, I'm fighting against the Empire, he's saying that, he's telling Wolf like they're experimenting on our brothers. You know, look at when he says open your eyes, I'm like, that's kind of mean. But open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eye. You mean open your eye? Right? He says that. Open your eyes. You're going after a kid. God. It's like,
I didn't even clock that.
I was like, oh gosh, Rex. Yeah,
he has like, such a way with words.
Yeah, I was like, but he tells him, he's like, hey, you're going after a kid. Like, which side are you on? Type of thing. And I just got really emotional at the standoff because just the way it was shot. Because Wolf kind of like tells his men like, don't do anything, like let them go. And because Echo comes finally and like, you know, at the rendezvous point takes them. But I got really emotional. There was a really cool shot with just on opposite sides, and it's just like, oh man. But I don't know. Are we gonna see a clone trooper rebellion like at this point?
I feel like part of me is afraid that because it seemed very intentional that he sent Wolf after Rex and their group, that may have been his test of like whose side are you on?
Because I'm nervous for Wolf.
Exactly. I'm afraid that was Hemlock's little test of like, whose side are you on? Oh, you didn't bring me who I wanted you to bring me. That's it. I'm very worried. Because it seemed just like very intentional.
Yeah.
Let him have his armor so that Rex would be able to see that it was Wolf. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous for Wolf. I'm like, oh, hopefully. I mean, we know he's okay after watching Rebels and stuff, but I'm just like, hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. It's kind of scary. But yeah, I mean, they depart. They let him go. Freaking. Meanwhile, CX2 climbs out of the waterfall and is alive. Apparently, because he can survive waterfalls at this point.
Yeah, he can also survive giant rocks falling on him. Like, this guy's indestructible.
Like Wrecker.
His bionic legs.
His bionic legs.
Like Wrecker. So true.
Yeah, so true. He survives a waterfall, and he supposedly survived another fall from last season.
Oh my god.
Those bionic animatronic, whatever the hell I said earlier, legs. Yeah, so they animatronic. What is this, a Disneyland ride?
Yeah.
So at the end, they finally escape on Echo's ship. Unfortunately, they lost some more of Rex's men. And Hunter apologizes, like, dude, I'm sorry for your men that you lost. And Rex says this really powerful thing. When he thought the Clone Wars would end, he thought it would be the end of losing his brothers. But what unfolded, he's learned that not only, I mean, he lost some men today, but he's also learning on some at Mount Tantus. They're experimenting on them. They're brainwashing them. And he freaking confronts Hunter and be like, yo, if you really want to protect Omega, you need to figure out what the heck do they really want with Omega. Like, stop running around. Like, you need to
get a sign.
No, seriously, like, you need to join this fight. This is just like, you're now part of this too. Like, you can't keep ignoring this anymore. You can't just keep going to Pablo and just like, ignoring this. But yeah, I mean, obviously Omega's vital to the Empire's work, so they obviously want her alive, and you need to find out what. So that's kind of where the episode leads off on. And then next week we'll have episode 8, which is titled Bad Territory. But Riley, I don't know, what do you kind of speculate we go on from here at this point?
I feel like maybe not, but I feel like we are going to see the consequences maybe of Wolf doing what he was sent to do. Maybe in just like even a short scene, or you maybe hear about it, or maybe nothing at all. Because even it was very sweet of like when he told his guys, like, gather the fallen clones.
Oh, that was really sweet, actually.
And he was like, but they're our enemy, or they were like, but they were fighting against us, and he was like, it doesn't matter, they're still our brothers, which is very sweet. It's just like, you can see that yes, Wolf is following orders still, but he still has his humanity.
Yes. I really,
he's not mindless.
That was a sweet moment when he said that. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I feel like we are going to start coming to a head of, okay, Crosshair, what do you know that you haven't been telling us? Because just from, not only because I think that that's Tech, but just the way he reacted when he saw that he was there and still alive, and he was like, we have to leave now. And he was like, well, you want answers, why don't you ask him, right, brother? And just like the interaction there, like, he knows something that he is not saying. Yeah. And I feel like in this next episode, Bad Territory may also come with like relationships bad territory. I'm excited and nervous.
Yeah, well, how the episode ended with Rex confronting Hunter, saying, hey, you need to get involved, you need to figure out what the deal is. from the trailer, I do know that we're gonna get Fennec Shan again.
Yeah.
So Fennec Shan at one point was actually hunting for Omega. So maybe we confront her, be like, hey, like, what do they want? Do you know, or maybe they hire her again. So that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, it's going to be really, I mean, I just really feel like we're just at, now I feel like we're just definitely at like the halfway point of like, okay, like where do we really go from here? I kind of want a little Nala Se check in. Like, is Nala Se okay?
I don't know. Hemlock threatened her, so I'm very nervous for her.
Yeah, so it's going to be really, really interesting. I was stressed out that Omega was going to get captured this season. I was like, dude, I cannot handle another Omega capturing Omega again. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like everyone that's just going to, I mean, including Rex and now, the Bad Batch, I think their just ultimate goal is to go and rescue all those clones from Mount Tantus. So
but where are they going to go?
I don't know.
How are they going to get them all out of there? How many shuttles are there? Because they even said in the last episode before these two, it's just like there's a lot more clones there than we thought.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh, I'm so nervous.
They're just so outnumbered at this point,
What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know. Where do we go from here, everyone?
All seems lost at the moment.
Yeah.
Everything's falling apart. Crosshair's keeping secrets from us.
I feel like he's just not. It's like he hasn't been. Yeah, like just give us more information. What really went on? And maybe Wrecker and Hunter aren't really trying to press him, but it's like, okay, now you got to really tell us what went down. Because
the longer he waits to tell them what he's not telling them, the more they're not going to trust him again.
Yeah.
Because he's been keeping information to himself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have a new episode next week. Oh my gosh. How many more do we have total?
I'm actually not even sure how many.
15 episodes.
And we just did 7. So we've got 8 more. Right? Is that math?
Yeah, we have 8 more.
Oh, man. I wonder if it's going to, like, the finale is going to be long episodes like season 7 of the Clone Wars.
I hope so.
Because that last arc, I think, each episode was maybe an hour each. Yeah. Or at least the last one. Because I feel like, I know it's 8 episodes, but I feel like there's still so much that they need to, like, fit in to wrap up the show that it can't just be, like, the 20-minute episodes it's been.
Yeah, well, this Extraction was 20. Yeah, they were, like, about 28 minutes, 29 minutes.
Because it's, like, 3 minutes of credits.
Yeah. I think that we have another week where there's, like, 2 episodes each, or like another 2 episode release. Not to look it up. Yeah, I know. We're left with more questions and answers. So we'll see where we go on. We got to know what the heck. Like all of us, we got to know what's going on with Omega. Why do they want Omega so much? What is happening on Mount Tantus? Not just obviously with nuggets that we got from the Mandalorian. What could be going down over there, obviously, with the Emperor involved. But now they have, like, the CX clone that's popping up. It's like, well, what's going on with these guys? So there's just a lot of things going on up in Mount Tantus. So, we want to know what's that. We still have Asajj Ventress is still supposed to pop up eventually in the show. So that's going to be really insane. And also, we just got to... Let's really find out who's CX2. So let's get into let's see Riley, when that happens, when that's finally announced, I don't know. I'll do something silly on.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can choose what I can do or something. Oh my gosh, it could still be Cody. Just kidding. Fly friends.
No one. I'm just gonna be pissed.
I know what I was gonna say. How pissed are you gonna be? Fly friends, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation. Riley, is there anything else we want to add before we get out of here?
Let us know what you think. I need to know. I need to know your predictions. I need to know your thoughts. Yes, let us know in the comments.
Yes, give us the predictions. Let us know where we're at. I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot.
Yeah. Join our Discord and talk to us there too.
Yeah, join our Discord. Mm-hmm. Follow us in all the socials. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Do all the fun stuff, y'all. Thanks for joining on the conversation. I appreciate y'all. Riley, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Riley Antoinette, on Twitter at Riley Antoine, because my middle name's too long. And here. Hello.
The cat.
What about you, Silver? Oh, little
jumping
baby.
On my desk. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Star Wars Thrifting, but you can follow us both on our social media for our podcast at Into the Garbage Chute and In Garbage Chute on Twitter. And we're on all the little social platforms where you get your podcasts. And also check us out on, if you're watching on YouTube. Hi. You're getting a nice little image of my cat who has decided to start jumping on things on this desk. So that's been really fun.
Precious.
Yeah. Alrighty. So we're going to head out of here. Fly friends, we'll see you next week.